Poland disappeared from the map for 123 years. Yet today, it's one of Europe's fastest growing economies. How did this nation rise from oblivion? It is a nation located in Central Europe. It borders the Baltic Sea to the north. It shares borders with Lithuania and Russia to the northeast. To the east, it neighbors Belarus and Ukraine. It borders Slovakia and the Czech Republic to the south. Its western neighbor is Germany. It is known that at least 500,000 years ago, the territory of modern Poland was already inhabited by Homo erectus. This conclusion is based on Paleolithic artifacts discovered in the town of Trzebnica. Later, Neanderthal groups entered the southern regions of present-day Poland. Stone tools found in caves on the Częstochowa upland near Kraków confirm this. The arrival of Homo sapiens coincided with the end of the last ice age. Around 10,000 BCE. This made Poland's climate warmer and more hospitable. This allowed several early human groups to cross the Sudetes Mountains, entering the region through a plain known as the Moravian Gate. Around 5500 BCE, the linear pottery culture appeared in Polish territory. The settlement patterns of this culture were characterized by longhouses, and it was one of the first cultures to form agricultural communities in modern Poland. The oldest known cheese sample in Europe dates from this period, discovered in the Kujawia region, around 4300 BCE. The territory corresponding to modern Poland was occupied by the funnel-beaker culture. An artifact dated to approximately 3400 BCE, known as the Bronnosis pot, was found in southern Poland, belonging to the funnel-beaker culture. This pot bears one of the world's earliest known depictions of a four-wheeled vehicle, indicating that wagons existed in Central Europe as early as the late 4th millennium BCE. Around 2900 BCE, Polish territory was inhabited by the corded ware culture. About a century later, the bell beaker culture succeeded it. Around 2300 BCE, the Mierzenowice culture emerged in the area of present-day Poland, marking the beginning of the Bronze Age in Polish lands. Around 1300 BCE, the region was occupied by the Truchiniec culture. Approximately 1200 BCE, the Lusatian culture appeared in modern Poland, famous for its well-known settlements. Poland's Iron Age began around 750 BCE. Around 500 BCE, likely due to linguistic exchange and continuous migration, Germanic peoples emerged in northern Europe, also occupying the northern parts of present-day Poland. Around 400 CE, Celtic groups inhabited the territory of modern Poland. From 375 CE onwards, various Hunnic tribes invaded Eastern Europe, initiating the migration period. Germanic tribes migrated westward, leaving Polish territory. Thus, from the second half of the 5th century CE, the first Slavic peoples arrived in the area corresponding to modern Poland. From the 6th century CE onwards, West Slavs established fortified settlements known as gords across Poland, giving rise to several tribes, including the Polans tribe, who were the ancestors of the Poles. In the 9th century, the Polans began the process of unifying several West Slavic groups. In 960, the West Slavs were finally unified under the Piast dynasty. The Polish leader Mieszko I became Duke of Poland, thus establishing the Duchy of Poland. In 966, Mieszko I converted to Christianity after marrying the devout Bohemian princess Dobrowa. This event is known as the Baptism of Poland, and this date is often regarded as the symbolic beginning of the Polish state. After Mieszko I's death in 992, his son Bolesław I the Brave succeeded him. He established the ecclesiastical organization in Poland, expanded the territory, and was formally crowned the first king of Poland in 1025, thus establishing the Kingdom of Poland. From 1038 onwards, Kraków became the capital of the Kingdom of Poland. However, Bolesław I the Brave's expansionist policies exhausted the state's resources, leading to the collapse of the monarchy. In 1138, Bolesław III Rymuth divided the Kingdom of Poland among his sons in his will, leading to internal fragmentation, and the Duchy of Pomerania became independent. In 1226, one of the regional dukes, Conrad I of Masovia, invited the Teutonic Knights to help fight the pagan Old Prussians on the Baltic coast. The Teutonic Knights exterminated the Old Prussians, but subsequently occupied their lands, leading to centuries of conflict between Poland and the Teutonic Order. Between 1240 and 1288, the Mongols invaded Poland 3 times, primarily for plunder and to prevent Polish rulers from interfering in Mongol-held territories. In 1320, the Kingdom of Poland was restored under the rule of Vladislav I the Elbow High, who reigned until 1333, when his son Casimir III the Great succeeded him. Under his governance, the Kingdom of Poland prospered once more. In 1355, Casimir III designated his nephew, Louis I of Hungary from the Angevin dynasty, as his heir, contingent upon him having no male offspring. Thus, upon Casimir III's death in 1370, Louis I ascended the throne, marking the end of the Piast dynasty, and Poland entered a personal union with Hungary. In 1374, Louis I granted extensive privileges to the Polish nobility, known as the Privilege of Kasisz, to secure the succession of one of his daughters to the Polish throne. In 1384, his younger daughter Jadwiga became Queen of Poland. In 1385, a series of prenuptial agreements and the Union of Krewo was signed, arranging the marriage of Jadwiga to Jogaila, the Grand Duke of Lithuania. The following year, Jogaila converted to Catholicism, married Queen Jadwiga, and was crowned King of Poland as Vladislav II Jagiello, thus establishing the Polish-Lithuanian personal union under the Jagiellonian dynasty. This union brought the vast Ruthenian territories controlled by the Grand Duchy of Lithuania into Poland's sphere of influence. The Polish-Lithuanian Union was highly beneficial for the citizens of both nations. Over the following centuries, the two states coexisted and cooperated, forming one of the largest political entities in Europe. Meanwhile, the war between Poland and the Teutonic Knights continued. During this conflict, the Polish and Lithuanian forces achieved a major victory at the Battle of Grunwald. In 1454, through the Act of Incorporation of Prussia, Poland incorporated the region of Royal Prussia into its territory, which subsequently led to the 13 Years' War with the state of the Teutonic Order. This war ended in 1466 with the signing of the Second Peace of Thorn, which also established the status of Eastern Prussia. It became a separate entity, held as a fief of Poland, administered by the Teutonic Knights. In 1525, during the Reformation, the Teutonic Order was secularized, and Eastern Prussia was transformed into the Duchy of Prussia, the first Protestant state. In 1569, the Union of Lublin was signed, merging the Kingdom of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania into a single unified state. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, also known as the First Polish Republic, with its capital remaining in Kraków. The personal union was replaced by an elective monarchy. A contributing factor to this union was that the reigning king, Sigismund II Augustus, had no children or brothers to inherit the throne. After Sigismund II Augustus's death in 1572, the noble Henry de Valois became the first elected king of Poland, marking the end of the Jagiellonian dynasty and the beginning of the era of elective monarchy. In 1596, due to its strategic geographical location, the capital of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was moved from Kraków to Warsaw, starting from the reign of John II Casimir Vasa in 1648. Foreign invasions and internal turmoil led to the gradual decline of the noble democracy, and Poland's golden age came to an end. In 1657, Poland lost the Duchy of Prussia, which came under the rule of Brandenburg, and was elevated to the Kingdom of Prussia in 1701. During the Great Northern War, the Polish political system collapsed. In 1732, Poland's three most powerful neighbors, Russia, Prussia, and the Austrian Empire, signed a secret treaty, the Alliance of the Three Black Eagles, aiming to control the future royal succession in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. In 1768, the Bar Confederation uprising broke out, a rebellion by Polish nobles opposing Russian interference, and King Stanislaw II Augustus, whom they viewed as a Russian proxy, aiming to maintain the independence of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. However, the rebellion was suppressed in 1772, ultimately leading to the First Partition of Poland. Under the Partition Treaty, parts of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth were annexed by Russia, Prussia, and the Austrian Empire. The adoption of the Constitution of May 3, 1791, faced strong opposition from conservative high nobles and Russian Empress Catherine II. Catherine II was determined to prevent the resurgence of a strong Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Consequently, in 1792, the Polish-Russian War broke out, fought between the forces of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Targowice Confederation, a group of Polish magnates supported by Russia. After the war, the pro-Russian Targowice Confederation came to power, and Russia and Prussia orchestrated the Second Partition of Poland in 1793, seizing large territories of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. These events triggered a national uprising led by Tadeusz Kościuszko. In 1794, Kościuszko issued the Kościuszko Proclamation, calling for a nationwide insurrection under his leadership. However, this uprising was suppressed by combined Russian and Prussian forces during the Second Battle of Warsaw in 1794. The following year, in the Third Partition of Poland, the remaining territories of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth were completely annexed by Russia, Prussia, and the Austrian Empire, leading to the formal dissolution of the Polish state. During the Napoleonic Wars in 1807, Napoleon established the Duchy of Warsaw, a semi-independent Polish state that existed until 1815. In the same year, following Napoleon's defeat, the Congress of Vienna established a new territorial division. The Duchy of Warsaw was reorganized into the new Kingdom of Poland, a semi-autonomous state in personal union with Russia, ruled by the Russian Emperor. However, from 1829 onwards, Tsar Nicholas I implemented increasingly restrictive policies, which sparked the November 1830 uprising by Polish patriots. In 1831, the insurgents were defeated, and the Kingdom of Poland lost its autonomy. Although an independent Polish state no longer existed, the idea of Polish independence never died out during the 19th century. The Polish people launched a series of uprisings and armed conflicts against the partitioning powers. From 1867 onwards, Polish territories under Austrian rule were incorporated into Austria-Hungary, while Polish areas under Prussian rule became part of the North German Confederation, and subsequently the German Empire in 1871 following the North German Confederation's transformation. During this period, economic development began in Polish territories. Though unevenly, advanced agriculture was practiced in the German-controlled zone, while significant development occurred in industry, railways, and cities in the Russian-controlled zone, with agriculture also featuring large-scale cultivation. The outbreak of World War I brought hope of regaining independence for Poles, as the empires that had partitioned Poland were thrown into turmoil. During the war, Poles were conscripted into the armies of the partitioning powers, fighting in a conflict that was not their own. After World War I ended, the monarchies of Russia, Austria, and Germany had all collapsed. In 1919, the Paris Peace Conference was held, and Poland regained its independence after over a century of foreign rule, establishing the Second Polish Republic, with Warsaw as its capital. In 1926, Józef Pilsudski staged the May coup, overthrowing President Stanislaw Wojciechowski, and establishing a government led by Kazimierz Bartel. In 1932, Pilsudski signed a Soviet-Polish non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. And in 1934, a German-Polish declaration of non-aggression with Germany. However, on August 23, 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a German-Soviet non-aggression treaty containing a secret protocol dividing Polish territory into spheres of influence for the two powers. Consequently, on September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and on September 17, the Soviet Union also invaded Poland, quickly occupying its eastern regions. On September 28, the Polish capital Warsaw fell, and on the same day, The German-Soviet boundary and friendship treaty was signed, with Poland being partitioned between Germany and the Soviet Union as they had prearranged. In June 1941, following Germany's launch of Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, all of Poland came under German occupation. From this point on, the German government began implementing the so-called final solution, the mass persecution of Jews. But starting in July 1944, the Soviet Red Army advanced into Polish territory. On January 17, 1945, the First Polish Army, fighting alongside the Red Army, entered the completely destroyed Warsaw. Poland was liberated from German occupation. During World War II, the Polish armed forces were the fourth largest Allied force in Europe, after the Soviet Union, the United States, and Great Britain. Among all participating nations, Poland suffered the highest citizen mortality rate, with approximately 6 million Poles losing their lives, amounting to over 1/6 of the country's pre-war population. According to the terms of the 1945 Potsdam Agreement, Poland's new borders were established. On July 22, 1952, the People's Republic of Poland was proclaimed. Until the late 1960s, the Polish economy stagnated. Price increases on essential goods triggered the Polish protests of 1970, leading to the downfall of leader Władysław Gomułka, who was succeeded by Edward Gierek. In the early period of Gierek's rule, the living and working conditions of the Polish people improved. And during this time, Poland's economic growth rate was among the highest in the world. However, Poland's foreign debt became a serious problem. Later, the government's attempt to raise meat prices sparked the 1980 Lublin strikes, and the independent trade union, Solidarity, was subsequently founded. To suppress Solidarity, General Wojciech Jaruzelski imposed martial law in 1981, which ultimately contributed to the decline of the Polish United Workers' Party. On June 4, 1989, Poland held its first post-World War II partially free elections. In these elections, Solidarity achieved a landslide victory. Subsequently, the Constitution of the People's Republic of Poland was amended, and the Third Republic of Poland was established. The following year, Lech Wałęsa was elected President of Poland. In 1999, Poland joined NATO. In 2004, it became a member of the European Union. In 2007, it joined the Schengen area. In April 2010, Polish President Lech Kaczynski, along with dozens of senior Polish military and political officials, perished in the Smolensk air disaster. In 2018, Poland attained developed country status. Today, Poland is a regional economic power in Central Europe, and one of the faster growing economies within the European Union.